It was another midweek full of goals, drama and red cards in League 2, and in today's video we're going to go through and review all 6 of last night's matches. The league table is now really taking shape going into the final 10 games of the season. If you do want to enjoy, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. 80 likes on today's video would be massively appreciated, and don't forget to get your thoughts in on your team's performance last night and result down in the comment section down below. Some real shocking results in there. I don't think anyone would have really predicted any of the results that came in last night. Let's get straight into it. We'll start out firstly then with arguably results of the night. Accrington Stanley secured their League 2 safety for another season. Well, you would assume so anyway. In absolutely unbelievable fashion. They absolutely demolished Newport County 5-0. I mean, have Accrington even scored 5 goals all season prior to this game? Obviously, I know they have, but goodness me, what a result, and some terrible defending really from Newport. Some of the goals for Accrington were pretty nice, but I think that some of them were, especially Nick Townsend in goal, is not going to be very happy with it. The first 2 really just come from a lack of a desire to defend from Newport. No one really wants to put a challenge in their midfield, really just lacking any real energy. The third goal, goodness me, I mean, a free kick comes into the box and it's one of them where it seems to bounce like 5 times and somehow just creeps into the far corner, and Newport just really looked beaten, in all honesty. Accrington were absolutely brilliant, scored some really nice goals. Probably the pick of the bunch was the 4th goal from O'Brien Whitmarsh, a great strike into the top corner. Kelsey Mooney got a brace. Tyler Walton, a couple of assists for him as well, but absolutely brilliant for Accrington, who that probably now takes them out of the relegation troubles. Really, you look at the stats, they absolutely dominated the game. They comfortably deserved to win by at least 5. Newport failed to register a shot on target. Courtney Baker-Richardson went close with a header in the second half, but that was about it. Despite Newport having nearly 60% of possession, they've gone and lost 5-0. It goes to show how little possession really does mean, if for the large part it is meaningless. And if you're a Newport fan, I've seen a lot of them on social media calling for Nelson Yardim's head. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. But in terms of the league table, Newport, they've been in absolutely awful form. Apart from that win against Gillingham, I think, is it 6 losses now in their last 5 matches, which is obviously not great for them. I can't see them going down. They're still 14 points above the drop, but they look like they're already on the beach and they've kind of all given up really. Accrington, that now takes them 10 points away from the relegation zone. With only 10 games to go, I can't see either Morecambe or Carlisle catching them. They've been in some very inconsistent form, but it's good enough form where they'll win a game, then they'll lose a game. But 3 wins out of your last 5, that is certainly good enough to keep you in this division. Only a minus 10 goal difference, to be fair. They've scored 44 goals this campaign, which is the most in the bottom 6 teams, to be fair. So credit to them for that. A massive win for them, and one that they definitely deserve to win by that margin by. AFC Wimbledon have failed to capitalise on a lot of them teams around them in the top 6 with their game in hand, as they were defeated at home to Cheltenham Town. Ashley Hay opened the scoring on 24 minutes. A great corner into the box from Ethan Archer. I think only signed a new contract with the club yesterday, and a brilliant header, to be fair. Maybe Josh Nerfield could have been a bit stronger, but just an absolutely unbelievable flick on right into that far corner. The lead would only last at 13 minutes. Sam Stubbs, Bradford City loanee, gives the ball away in a really poor position, and then a cross comes in from the Wimbledon right-hand side. It's not really dealt with. Tilly gets his head on it, and then it's just a calamity of errors from, I think, the number 18 from Cheltenham, the goalkeeper. They all just leave it for one another. Apparently, Marcus Brown's tapped it in. It's either Brown's goal or James Tilly. Either way, it was absolutely awful defending from Cheltenham, but with just 11 minutes left on the clock, Matty Taylor would find himself on the score sheet once again since the turn of the new year. He started scoring goals once again in a brilliant strike, to be fair. Ashley Hay pins Joe Lewis. Pretty weak defending from the Wimbledon man. Again, maybe we blame that on his extremely short shots, and the ball gets played out wide to Matty Taylor, and to be fair, it's an unbelievable finish into that far corner. 34, 35 years of age and still proving there is life left in the old dog. Yeah, in terms of the stats, again, Wimbledon, they've had quite a lot of the possession, to be fair. Loads of shots, just not many on target. They had some decent chances. Matty Stevens had a free header almost at 0-0. Alistair Smith in the second half, I think at 1-1, had a brilliant opportunity 12 yards out, and he failed to even hit the target with that. And I think that's Wimbledon's problem, or certainly has been recently. They're just not scoring goals. Their defence has certainly got a little bit leakier as well. Have you got players out injured at the moment? Wimbledon fans, let me know down in the comment section down below. But just on that number 18, Bakari for Cheltenham, not really a fan of him, to be honest. I quite like the rest of the Cheltenham team, not him though. When we played them last Tuesday, he shoved Michael Mellon into the post after we scored. for no apparent reason. So don't like him. Sam Stubbs has been given the man of the match, even though he's massively at fault for the Wimbledon goal. In terms of the league table then, that is 3 massive points dropped for Johnny Jackson's side. It's now just 4 points picked up at their last possible 15 available. Nobody seems to want to be promoted in this top 6. I mean, look, there's barely been any wins in the last 3 game weeks. It's absolutely crazy. 4 teams in around that top 6, even top 7 to be fair. Crew, they've been inconsistent recently, but a win in this game would have seen Wimbledon go into that top 3. They failed to capitalise. It's 3 defeats in their last 4, and I have certainly seen some fans calling for Johnny Jackson's head. Wombos fans, let me know down below, is he the right man to take you forward into next season? Is he the right man to get you over the line this season? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Cheltenham, after a recent on paper poor run of form, have now finally back to winning ways as well. 7 points off the playoffs. I can't see them getting in at this stage. Again, like I've mentioned in the previous couple of episodes that we've done of this, it is all about building for next season, but it goes to show on their day Cheltenham are a very good side, and that is a big 3 points for them, so thank you from a Bradford City point of view. Colchester United continued their brilliant run of form as they made it 4 wins on the bounce, and they've done Bradford City a big favour as well, although I am now feeling a little bit nervous about playing them in a couple of weeks. Samson Tavide opened to scoring on 34 minutes, a brilliant piece of individual brilliance, really. I think it's just a nightmare of errors, really, from Nathan Smith, the number 6 for Port Vale. Originally heads the ball against Tavide, and then Tavide just completely outpaces him, outstrengths him, just gets past him like he's not even there, and it's an unbelievable finish, to be fair, into the roof of the net. Port Vale would equalise with 5 minutes left on the clock. Some pretty scrappy play inside the penalty area. Rico Richards kind of scuffs his shot a little bit. I think Matt Mace will be very disappointed to be beaten at his front post by the kind of lack of power, really, on the shot. Just before that, Port Vale scored that equaliser. I think Colchester should have probably had a penalty up the other end, but then they got their justice not even at 60 seconds later. Lyle Taylor whips in a free kick, and former Bantam Fika Kelleher would head home with just 4 minutes left on the clock to wrap up another 3 points for Danny Cowley's side. They really are coming for the playoffs at this moment in time. In terms of the stats, Port Vale have dominated possession, but Colchester probably created more and better chances. Again, I've seen a lot of frustration towards Darren Moore. Valiant fans, let me know down below, is he the right man to take you forward? Do you believe he'll get you over the line this season? And if he doesn't, is he the right man to take you into next season? But I've been thinking for quite a while about this Port Vale defence. That back 3, is that really a back 3 that screams promotion? I personally wouldn't say so. Probably Jesse Deborah is decent enough for the playoffs, but Smith and Hall personally would both say way past it. Obviously, Hall left Port Vale to go to Colchester. His time there didn't really work out. And you look at the players in this Colchester side now, they're absolutely flying. Yes, I know they're lacking a couple of bodies in midfield at the moment, but apart from that, they've pretty much got the full team to select from, and you can tell why. Defensively, looking very solid. Going forward, they've got some real firepower at the top end of that pitch. The likes of Jack Payne, Samson Tavide, Ware Edwards, and a few others as well. According to this, they're only really missing Bishop and McDonald. I don't think Oney and Scully would really have that much of an impact. So it is 2 big losses for them, but on the balance of play, when you've got other teams that are missing 6, 7, 8 players, they're doing quite well at the moment. So hopefully for their sake, they can keep all of their other players injury-free between now and the end of the season, because winning that game in hand now puts them just 1 point outside of the playoffs. I feel like AUTOS might be maybe too far for them to achieve. It is only 7 points, but can I see them clawing that over? You know, there's a lot of teams need to climb over. They need to get into the playoffs before I think they start thinking about the AUTOS. But I think, you know, I wouldn't certainly bet against it, but I do think they should kind of focus on just the one game at a time sort of mentality rather than, you know, getting a little bit too excited for themselves. It's a brilliant win for them. They're on a very good run, and they should certainly enjoy it, because Colchester have been a club who've just seemed to be on the decline over the last couple of seasons, but the Cowleys have certainly brought the feel-good factor back there. Port Vale, I feel like when you draw 3 straight games in a row, coming off the back of a win, your game after that then does need to be a win, or them draws you certainly look back on with a lot of frustration, but not to only lose it in the manner of the loss as well. Just 3 points picked up out of their last possible 12 available. They still do have another game in hand, but automatic promotion is now out of their hands once again. So it's in the hands of Walsall, Bradford and Doncaster, and then in terms of the playoffs, it's in the hands of Notts County, Wimbledon, Port Vale and Crewe. But I could almost bet my house on the top 7 will not finish as those teams. With Grimsby's recent good run of form, Colchester are absolutely absolutely flying. They're certainly going to cause a couple of upsets, but another brilliant win for Danny Cowley's side. And is it time to start being a little bit concerned maybe about Port Vale? Grimsby 0, Notts County 2 is the game that I chose to watch last night, and with the start in the game, I thought it was quite even. First 10-15 minutes, you see Alex Bass come off after 10 minutes, and then 36-year-old Sam Slocum comes on, and you're thinking, sure, this has got a Grimsby win written all over it. With the start of both teams, it's going to be a massive blow for Notts County, losing their very good goalkeeper, who's one of the best in the division, for Sam Slocum, who conceded over 80 goals last season, I believe, which was obviously not ideal for them. After that, Grimsby completely dominated the first half from 15 minutes to 45. It was pretty much all Grimsby. Notts were really struggling to string 3 passes together in the Grimsby half. They were having chances, were the home side, but they just could not convert. And then second half, it was like 2 completely different teams came out. It was like you basically swapped them. They forgot to swap sides, and it was the team shooting the same way, were playing the same as they did in the first half. Grimsby were absolutely awful. Notts County were absolutely brilliant, and Alessandro Jatta found himself on the score sheet once again. Just 11 minutes into the second half, free kick comes in. Matty Platt is left to have a free header back towards goal. It's a little bit of scrappy play. Jatta throws his body at it. Grimsby players try and clear it off the line, but eventually it does bounce over into the back of the net. I think Jatta now goes level on Golden Boot goals, if that makes sense. For the Golden Boot chart, he's now level on goals once again with Michael Cheek. I think he now has 17. We see David McGoldrick enter the pitch. I think he's missed the last 7 matches for Notts, and you can clearly see the difference that he makes. Within 18 minutes of him coming on, he found himself on the score sheet with an unbelievable solo goal at 36, 37 years of age. When I compare that to the last 37-year-old that Bradford City signed in Matt Derbyshire, absolutely night and day. What a player David McGoldrick is. One of the best, if not the best, in the entire division. Takes it from basically the halfway line, has to beat a couple of players. It's not great defending from Grimsby, but the shot from outside the box to find the bottom corner from there with that power, absolutely unbelievable strike. And that wrapped up all 3 points for Stuart Maynard's side. In terms of the statistics for the game, it does look quite even. 29 shots between the two teams, 10 shots on target. I thought Sam Slocum had a shaky first 5 or 10 minutes, but then after that I thought had a really, really good display. I would say Charlie Whittaker for Notts County is really struggling to kind of react to men's professional football. I was very disappointed with the second half display from the Mariners, but hopefully for them it's just a little blip in the road. Obviously, if they would have won this game, they would have actually gone up to 6th in the table. Crew would have dropped out, but Port Vale would have dropped down to 7th. So after their very good run of form, I'm sure that was a very disappointing defeat for them, considering how poor Notts had been over the last couple of weeks. But that is a massive 3 points for them. Going into the game, a lot of Notts fans were thinking, are we even going to get into the playoffs? They're now only 1 point again off of the top 3. So it goes to show how many twists and turns that we're going to see between now and the end of the season. They're only 7 points off top of the table as well. And if Jody Jones is back in the next couple of weeks, I've been a big believer of Notts County's overall team is maybe a 10th place finish, but if you add in a David McGoldrick, you add in Jody Jones, that team's then good enough to win a title. Them 2 players just raise the standards of the other ones. I also want to give another shout out to Nick Cerula, a player I wanted Bradford City to sign in the summer. His minutes have been very limited so far this season in Notts County shirt, but I thought he had a brilliant performance last night. It's a massive win for Stuart Maynard's side after their recent little bit of a wobble. They'll be hoping that they are now back on track with David McGoldrick back from injury as well. That's big news for them in Grimsby. It's a massive opportunity missed, I feel. Paul Cook's bipolar Chesterfield are just very, very bizarre. I cannot work them out. 1 week they're getting smashed by a terrible team. The next week they're going away to a playoff chasing team and battered them 4-0. Yes, the red card obviously plays a big part in the game. Hakeem Badoulican, one of Salford's best 3 or most important 3 players. You can't obviously see the red card on the highlights. I've listened to Cal Robinson's post-match interview, and he basically says that Jack Sparks steps on Hakeem Badoulican's toe and then Badoulican then swipes at him. I just think it's very daft. Jack Sparks has clearly gone to get the reaction. He's got the reaction, and Hakeem Badoulican's absolutely bought in. He's now going to miss the next 3 games. If Salford had any outside chance of making the playoffs without him for the next 3, I would personally say they've got absolutely no chance. But Chesterfield scored some really good goals. A great cross into the box from Jack Sparks for the opener, and a great finish from Liam Mandeville. I think Salford will be disappointed with the manner of their defending, and I don't think the Salford keeper will be very impressed. They make it 2 just 3 minutes later. Some really scrappy play inside the penalty area. Salford again a bit weak in their defending, don't really clear the ball, and Peppel is able to finish into the back of the net, and he's not even barely started his celebration. celebration, and busy Darren Drysdale, the referee's blowing on his whistle really aggressively, telling him to come away from celebrating. I really do not like Darren Drysdale as referee. Armando Dobra makes it 3 in the second half. A great cross into the box from Ollie Banks. Dobra then checks back away from a player, kind of half goes round the keeper and still manages to find the back of the net, and then the game was wrapped up. Well, I mean, if it wasn't already wrapped up, but the scoring was finished and completed with Liam Mandeville getting his second of the game in the 96th minute. A great finish, to be fair, but again, one I don't think the Salford keeper will be very happy to look back on, as he does get beaten at his near post. Chesterfield, they're so inconsistent. I really don't know what to say about them. Obviously, the red card clearly does play an impact in the game, but look at the stats. Anything other than a 4-0 win, and you'd have been like, Chesterfield are really lacking that clinical edge. If this game finishes 8-0, does anyone really complain? Maybe 8-1. Chesterfield absolutely battered them, as you would definitely expect. But it is now back-to-back wins for Paul Cook's side. That scrappy win against Newport might send them on a decent run between now and the end of the season. They are 8 points off the playoffs, with 11 games to go. They're one of the other teams who do have another game in hand. Can I see them getting into the playoffs? No, it is all about building for next season, but they're 14th in the table and they've got a plus 13 goal difference. There's teams 6 places above them who are still in the minuses for goal difference, which goes to show how inconsistent Chesterfield are. They can win games like this 4-0. They can batter Doncaster, was it 5-2 at home, but then they'll just lose some really poor matches. Like losing to Colchester is not the end of the world. Losing at home to Crewe, not really an ideal result. Losing against Swindon, okay, maybe I'm just very wrong here, but I feel like with the squad Chesterfield have got, I know they've had injuries so far this season, but they should be doing a lot better than where they are in the table. I think Palmer and Grimes is an okay partnership, but 2 positions that they should be looking to improve on in the summer, in my opinion. They've got some very good depth. They've got some great attacking players, the likes of Armando Dobra, probably the pick of the bunch for me as well. Obviously, Liam Mandeville with another couple of goals for himself as well. A brilliant win for Paul Cook's side, but I think will come the end of the season, and this will probably just be 2 teams will end up finishing in mid-table. Salford, concerning signs for them, because without a Doolican now for the next 3 games, yeah, they've got Woodburn and Kelly Namai, but I just don't really see them scoring many goals without his quality, which does concern me. But a brilliant win for Paul Cook's side. My overall thoughts then after last night's League 2 games are, once again, nobody just seems to want to get promoted. Wimbledon and Port Vale failing to capitalise on their game in hand. Notts finally, though, getting back to winning ways and putting a bit of pressure on at Doncaster. Above them, Colchester, they continue their excellent run of form, and I think playoffs is a real possibility for them. They've even probably got an outside chance of the top 3 as well. Then we've got a lot of mid-table mediocrity. Concerning signs over Newport. I don't see them going down, but building for next season. You look at MK Dons, Gillingham, Harrogate, Accrington and Tranmere all winning their most recent game, which looks very nice for them, but obviously that's not very good for Morecambe and Carlisle, with now Accrington out of that relegation battle as they're 10 points from safety, not 10 points from safety, they're 10 points above the drop zone, if that does make sense. It's now, if it wasn't already, a 3-table mini-league at the bottom between Tranmere, Morecambe and Carlisle, but even then, Tranmere have got a 4-point head start with a worse goal difference. I still believe Carlisle are already relegated, then it's between Morecambe and Tranmere, and if I was a betting man, I'll probably put money on Morecambe getting relegated rather than Tranmere, because they've been very good under Andy Crosby. Again, if I'm putting money on teams being promoted, instead of it being Bradford, Doncaster and Port Vale, like I mentioned on Saturday, I'll probably go Bradford, Doncaster and Notts County now. That's the difference that Dave McGoldrick can make. Port Vale are lacking that consistency, struggling for goals and really shipping in a few at the moment. Wimbledon really lacking the ability to score goals, so things could have changed by Saturday. I could be giving you 3 completely different teams by that point. It's such a crazy league. No one can beat no one, and then anyone can beat anyone. It's absolutely mental, this league. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try to 80 likes, as I said at the start of today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Who do you think will be promoted? Who do you think will be relegated? And where do you see Colchester finishing come the end of the season? Will they make the playoffs? Will they make that top 3? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Is your manager the right man to take you forward? Newport, Port Vale, Wimbledon fans, let me know your sort of thoughts down in the comment section down below, and I'll see you very soon for another one.